bought a few bottles. We did not like jump onto essential oil, jump onto doTERRA and sign up and all that. She basically bought like, I think 3-4 bottles. I think she bought the lavender, she bought the Intune and the frankincense. And if I'm not mistaken, she bought the vetiver, like 4 bottles of essential oils. I was observing. I raised my son. I kind of, handle him, manage him on a daily basis. So I was seeing something really, really unusual. It was like he was intoxicated, like mabok, like a bit, stone gun. So I like, what's going on? So I asked my wife, and she said that, there you go. I've been applying this thing here that you didn't want to listen at all, on Adam. And I say, what is it? How did you, what do you do? How do you apply? And she says she doesn't know. She just apply onto all, like the spine, the chest, the neck area. So she did that like every 3-4 hours throughout the day. Because to me, I didn't realize, because my house always smelled pretty nice. My wife would like bring back stuff, to make the house smell good. So he was like not normal. He was acting really, really unusual. And that got my attention. It got me really curious, like what's going on, and you're telling me that this thing here that we call essential oils is now, affecting my son. How? Why? What? I don't know. But Adam was responding, was reacting to the oils. And that was really interesting. So that's when I started to do my due diligence, and I start to want to know more. So cut the whole story short, that's how I actually got into it. It wasn't like something that I wanted to sell essential oils. I wanted to do the business. Everything kind of fell into place. And then one thing led to another. I went to convention. I came back. I was just so overwhelmed and blown away. And so we had a good meeting, sat down and talked to my wife, and she said, yeah, I mean, this is something serious, and something that we don't really understand, but we wanted to know more. And we kind of just casually shared, around on social media and all that, but we got a lot of attention, and said, hey, you know what? People are really into this thing. They kind of dig it. So maybe we should start looking at doing this seriously and finding out more information. Okay. So that's been 2 over years. Autism is actually, it's a cognitive developmental condition, right? It's very, very complicated. It's really complicated because it involves neurons, that affects the brain, right? So we cannot conduct surgery. We cannot repair these, neurons and all these nerves that connects to the brain. We cannot correct that condition. Okay, you cannot do physical surgery like a lot of other things that we deal with. The medical side can fix it. Now, not autism, because it involves the brain. I say essential oils do not cure autism, and that's the fact. Okay, whoever tells you that essential oils can cure autism, then I don't think it's accurate. Okay, so don't go around and tell everybody doTERRA cures autism, because it will not cure autism. Autism is not curable, but having said that, it is manageable. Okay, it is manageable if you really, really put a lot of time and effort into it. But what makes it so complicated and so hard is because it's a damn huge spectrum, right? Autism, it's a mega spectrum. It's so complicated. I mean, you think that you figure it out and then something new happened. You think that, oh, it's like this, and then it changes, right? Because you're dealing with a growing child, right? So Adam, he's 18 now. When he was 13 years old, he was different. When he was 7 years old, when he was different. When he was 4 or 5 years old, he was different. It's just like your normal growing kid, right? They go through that phase, and they need different things throughout the entire journey. what we want to do is, when you have a situation, you have a kid with autism, is you have to teach them the right way. Okay, you have to teach them, and hope, okay, and hope that it will work. Some okay and some not so okay. So autism, basically, it manifests in the form of behavior. You need to teach these kids um, what to expect, what to do, like really A, B, C, one, two, three, one by one. If it's this situation, this is what you do. If it's like that, this is what you do. And they can learn. They really can learn. But of course, it depends on their severity. Sometimes, and that's why I say it's a spectrum, right? If you have a very mild autism, a kid with mild autism, then your chances of helping that particular child to improve, to learn the right behavior, it's higher. Okay, you're going to get more results, better results if you were to deal with a child with very mild autism, and especially if they're verbal. If they're verbal, then it's a milestone. It's like a big difference dealing with a child who is nonverbal, because a nonverbal autistic kid cannot tell you how they feel. They cannot even tell you anything. It's always a guessing game, right? That's the major challenge here. Whatever that's happening in your home plays a part. It affects the child. All right, the family members, the surrounding, and of course now I know the food. Okay, the food is big time. Okay, so yeah, so where does all this essential oil thingy fall into place? Where did it come in, right? What's essential got to do with autism, guys? All right. Now, as in our brain, there's this limbic system, right? The limbic system is a set of structure that, the brain that affects, that controls the emotions, arousal, we get stimulated, and we get depressed in the feelings, so it's that part of the brain. And we know that smell affects the limbic system, the smell, okay? Now, it's very, very simple logic. If you want to relax, okay, you go home, you want to relax, and your house smell like a kitchen, like, frying fish, smell like oily, in the air, how are you going to be relaxed, right? If you look at a guy or a girl that it's really gorgeous, handsome, pretty, beautiful, right? It's perfect, the visual is perfect, right? But then when you go near to that person smells terrible. That individual smells so bad, the body odor is so bad that it irritates you. You cannot even focus. So how beautiful something looks like, but it smells terrible, it affects your mood, right? So it's proven that smell affects, a person's emotion. It affects the limbic system, and autism has so much to do with that. It's an emotional ride. It's crazy. They can be okay one moment, and then they can be not okay another moment. Okay, it's like really the intense side of it. So it has to do with that limbic system. It's not well balanced. Something is not right. Okay, and when you talk about doTERRA, oh my God, right? It is like the purest stuff. So you know very well that essential oils, especially when they're pure, like doTERRA oils, it's going to affect the mood of another person. And it will affect the mood of an autistic child. Okay, the mood and the way they feel is very important. Why? Because when you have an autistic child, you need to teach them. If this kid is not stable, it's not focused, okay, it's not calm, it's going to be very, very challenging teaching the child. It's going to be very hard. You can have all the therapy, for this kid, but when he is not in the right state of mind, it's very hard for that kid to be receptive, to learn, right? So you have to do this other part. That means you have to try to have an influence over his emotional side as well first before you want to teach. Essential oils is not everything. It is just a tool to help you to manage, kind of help you to manage the mood of the child. You still need to do a lot of work with the kid. You need to teach, you need to have therapies and things like that to teach, to help this child to learn, okay? Because they learn in a very different way. But by being calm and focused, excuse me, um, your chances of you getting better results is higher. Okay, so it requires a lot of time. You need a lot of patience, and guys, it's consistency. It's not about just once a while. It's continuous. Okay, and it's a lifelong process. It's not like use essential oils for 1 year and then your child is like, okay, everything is fine, he's okay. It's not like that. The oils and not the medication. It doesn't cure your kid, right? It is a part of the entire therapy, okay? A whole protocol that you're gonna use, to help your child to develop better behavior, to learn better. And the earlier you start on them, the better. Now, Adam is really unfortunate. We found doTERRA when he was already almost like a teen, right? He's actually a teen. We got to know about doTERRA. We used doTERRA on Adam when he was already a 15. Can you imagine if you start using doTERRA essential oils on your child when they are like just 4 or 5 years old? And you start them really, really early. It's the same like early child intervention. When you start them early, okay, that would, I definitely am so sure that you will get better results. All right. Using oils for a kid with autism, it's an ongoing thing. So you want to tell all your friends and families who thinking about using essential oils for their child, if they have a child with autism, it's an ongoing thing. So you better be a wholesale customer. You better figure out how to save. And it's such a blessing that I get to use my essential oils for free because I'm doing the business, right? So it's never like, oh, it's too expensive. Oh, don't use so much. Oh, we don't care, man. We just mandi him with the oils, right? Because we're so blessed with doTERRA. So that's the best part. I'll work on focus, calm. The most important thing, listen carefully, is being happy. Autistic children are very, very stressed. They are stressed all the time because they couldn't figure it out. So they are the most stressed human being, I would say, in the world, and they cannot tell you. Can you imagine that? All right, you cannot. So you have to be very sensitive. And if you can bring happiness to these kids, right, you really have achieved a milestone. Okay, so when they're happy, they are better students. When they are better students, you can teach them more things and they'll be able to learn better and improve, and develop better behaviors. So happy. So what are you going to do? I'm going to use these oils to do that. I'm going to try to use doTERRA essential oils to achieve this, not to cure him. That's why I say doTERRA do not cure autism, but I use the oils to achieve this three very important things. I want my son to be able to focus better. I want him to be more calmer. So when I talk to him, I teach him, he is more receptive. And I want him to be happy because when he's happy, right, it's easier. Guys, everyone, when you're happy, right, good things tend to happen, right? So these three things is very, very important. So I look for oils that do that. So you look for essential oils that can give you that, okay, that can improve that situation, that condition with your child. Now, again, I'm going to go through some oils with you, what I use on Adam, but that, again, do not necessarily mean that it will work on every one of your kid, because as you know, all right, our body chemistry and I mean, some more with autism, right, with the spectrum, every child is so different. You have to really understand your child, what is the major problem that you're facing, you're dealing with. Then you address that, you zoom in, right, and you look into the oils that can do best. And yeah, sometimes, it's really weird, right? You never think about using peppermint for autism, right? But I use a lot of peppermint. Let me tell you why. I'll tell you later why. 'Cause it's a big thing, and I discovered that much later, right? As I get to learn more about the oils and I understand the characteristics of the oil and what they can do and so on. So a lot of experimenting, a lot of a so-called try and errors. You have to use it, and then you've come to know your own protocol. What's the best way, best oils combination, when to use it, how to use it, right? And it's going to get better, but you got to want it. You got to want it. In Malay, we call it ikhtiar. You have to really want result. We really wanted result. We want the oils to work on him so much, and that's why, we are seeing the result. It's not about just try la sapu la, just and then cannot. Definitely, you're not going to get result if that's the case. You gotta want it to work and really really try it. Okay, so it's a question of, you tell your friends, do you want to just 100% rely on synthetic drugs, or you want to go natural? But I do advise you to not just drop all your drugs. If you're on the drugs and drop everything and jump to essential oil like overnight, don't ever do that. Okay, try to have balance, integrate both, together. You can reduce, and this is what I say, it took us, 1 over a year to kind of figure out to come to that balance. And to be frank with you, Adam still take medication. He still take his drugs from the hospital. Of course, it is always my dream to have him 100%, drug free. But yeah, he still needs some of the drugs, and it depends on the kid. Again, if you have a mild one, then maybe you don't, right? doTERRA is not a magic oil. It's not the oil that is going to take away all your problems, guys. All right. But let me tell you what it is. Okay. It is really God sent. doTERRA is God sent. Okay. Because it works for what we want it to do. Okay. It works for what we want it to do. And a lot of times you have to know what you want to achieve first. Okay. It cannot be generalized. It must be very specific. Okay. What you want to achieve, you got to do it one step at a time, little by little. What do you first want your child to achieve? You cannot just expect doTERRA to take away all the problems like overnight, right? Okay. So yeah, and over the last 2 years, and we have seen incredible things, happening to Adam, and that's why you see that I'm so confidently promoting and sharing doTERRA on social media that connects to autism. I'm not afraid, because I'm being really frank. I'm living it. Okay, tell me I'm wrong. It doesn't affect me because I'm living it, right? I may not have the qualifications to tell you precisely, scientifically, technically how the whole thing works, but it works for me, right? It gets what I want to achieve done, and that's a big thing, And guys, not only that, the oils help my child, it helped my entire family. We are a very stressful family. You do not understand the stress that we go through. Maybe some of you may have a teenage child with autism, and you will understand a little bit. Okay, Adam, it's really severe. He is like hardcore. Okay, well, you see a lot in social media. You don't see into 90% of the not so pleasant stuff. But yeah, it's pretty stressful, and the oils have helped us so much. The essential oils have helped me so much to be more patient, to be more positive, to be more calm, and to have more hope, And most of all, for me, as being a wellness advocate, it allows me to actually stay home. That's a whole different part, and we're not into that tonight, right? Yeah, it's so awesome that we are able to generate residual income from sharing doTERRA, and that is a major stress level for the caregiver and for parents, who have to figure out, because we have to spend so much time with our child, and how can we focus on our career, right? How can we go out there and do something else? So basically, I'm so blessed that I get to do everything together. It's like everything just fall into place. I get to build a career that whereby what I do it's what my son loves and my family love and what we do together, and that's super super awesome, guys. A lot of people always ask me, oh, my son is like that, what oil should I use for calming and all, well, if you're a wellness advocate, I just want to tell you that I don't care if you have an autistic child or not, I'm going to sell you the top 10 oils, right? Tell me that an autistic kid do not need digoxin. Tell me that your autistic son do not need on guard. Hey, everybody needs that, right? So it is about getting the fundamentals in first. So now I'm just talking about promoting and sharing doTERRA essential oils as a way of life. It's a lifestyle, right? So we incorporate everything. My son needs easy air, needs on guard. Adam, he is autistic, right? But he needs on guard. He needs digoxin big time, because the gut is such a big deal when it comes to someone with autism. It's very sensitive, right? If you makan something salah, and there you go. So digoxin, it's a very, very big oil for him. Okay, on guard as well, because I don't want him to get sick. I need my son to be in tip-top condition as far as his immunity. It needs to be strong, because when someone like Adam gets sick, he doesn't know how to tell you how he feels. Well, then it's really hard for us. We have to figure it out. We don't know. So I don't really want him to get sick. Okay, so yeah, then when you look at it this way, then you start to appreciate the other oils. It's not just about calming, it's not about calming, right? Then the happy oil, the uplifting oil, it's like the entire whole package, man. So you got to keep trying all kinds of oil, and we've tried so many of the other oils. So it is a way of life, but the big deal is actually the big chunk of it. Of course, we focus in the emotional part, okay, the emotional side of achieving, to help him to focus more, to stay more calm, and the most important thing is to be happy. And Adam is so much happier with doTERRA essential oils, and that's the thing that keeps me, sharing and telling people, because the oils really make him happy, and when he's happy, I'm happy. Now, I'm not trying to tell you that every time I put the oil on him it works. There are times that it doesn't work, right? But if the essential oils work 5 out of 10 times, I'm happy. Imagine those days when I did not know about doTERRA. I had nothing. Okay, when I was in dire straits, when I was in desperation, right? I had nothing. Now at least I have the oils, right? I can pick up the oils. I can do something, and a lot of times it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It may work, but it worked later, right? Okay, so yeah, I would say that I rather have the essential oils than not have it at all, even though it doesn't work 100%, 10 out of 10 times, right? Okay, so guys, you have to know that. And we use the oils a lot. It is not about using it one time, two time. If he's not having a situation, we don't use it. No, it is part of his life. All right, we use the essential oils on him. That Adam, until to a point now, he asks for the oils. He will know what to do. It's part of his everyday routine. It's so wonderful. Okay, so it's happy, and with the essential oils, we are able to be more intimate with our son. We can connect with him better. There's a special connection. Applying oils on my son, it's a pleasure. I don't know, some of my friends are like, oh, you're so leche, you have to sapu, how many times a day, guys, I love to put oil on Adam, because whenever you apply oils on your child, you are also getting the oils as well, right? So it's so wonderful, right? So yeah, so that's a big deal. Okay, now let's go through the top 10 oils that I use on Adam. Okay, the top 10 oils. Now you got to guess it right. Okay, of course it's lavender. Lavender, it's like the first essential oil that my wife bought and used on Adam. It's like our favorite oil. That is the oil. It's not the expensive one, so we use it a lot. And Adam loved lavender. Okay, lavender helps him to be calm. We apply lavender like a lot throughout the day. Okay, of course, I don't have to tell you how I do it, but you can apply it, every time. Like Adam, he takes shower, he showers 5-6 times a day. Every time he shower, we use lavender a lot. Okay, and another pair that we use these 10 oils. We don't use them together. All right, we don't use them together. We kind of alternate sometimes. Okay, we have different sets of oils, so because we don't want him to get bored with one scent. We want to see how he reacts to different essential oils as well. I mean, we use some 20 over different kind of oils on Adam, but these are the top 10s that we use. Okay, for lavender, is a very general oil that we use a lot on him. It's a like perfume to him. It's normal, right? Okay, and when he is really stressed, when he has really anxiety going on, he has an attack, we will use copaiba and frankincense, and this two has to go together, right? Together, copaiba and frankincense, we would apply a lot on him. Now you cannot be stingy, guys. Okay. Um, um, yeah, I mean, one drop goes a long way, right? Essentially, it's so powerful. But he's a big guy, and we really, really oil him down with the oil. Okay. So our son become a diffuser. He's like the frankincense and copaiba diffuser, right? So we, of course, always dilute your oils. It's always more effective when we dilute it. We dilute our oils with the FCO before we apply on him topically. Um, so we do that, copaiba and frankincense, when it's critical. Okay, every night. Now this is a night routine. Every night, vetiver and lavender is a must. Lavender peace, sorry. So lavender peace of serenity and vetiver, it's a must thing. Okay, the vetiver we're gonna apply on his chest and sole of his feet, and then the lavender piece on his spine, and we will diffuse lavender piece, okay, and then with some frankincense sometimes. All right. Now the peppermint, we use peppermint when he has meltdowns, because peppermint is, it's the fastest oils that can go into the body, right? It enters the bloodstream very fast, and peppermint is an oil that you can feel, right? So we want to distract him, so we use the peppermint. When he's having a meltdown, the peppermint help him to get hold of himself. It distract him so he doesn't build on that momentum, and also it helped him to come back, from a meltdown, to recover faster. Like if you like really feeling nausea, right? You want to pain sun, and then you use peppermint, you feel better, right? You feel good. So it's very similar, right? So the peppermint helps Adam to recover from whatever struggle that he was dealing with. It's really stressful, going through a meltdown, very tiring, exhausting. So the peppermint works. And we use, we sapu all around his neck. We massage it into his whole temple, the forehead and the spine. Of course, you got to dilute it, right? So he really feels it. Okay, and also another oil that we use when he is having a meltdown, okay, is the lime. We use lime a lot, as a citrus oil. So the lime, we would apply the lime on his chest, on the sole of his feet, and we diffuse a lime, like really strong. Okay, really strong. You gotta have that really strong citrusy, the lime smell. It's not lemon. The lime works better for him. Yeah, this is like when he has a situation, when coming out. And of course, once the peppermint is applied, then once he's calmed down already, we put frankincense on him pula. We will apply the frankincense on the copaiba. That is basically to help him to heal, to recover. All right. The peppermint is like when there is a situation, and then for him to recover, we use a lot of frankincense and copaiba. All right. So the happy oil, of course, the happy oil, whenever he's a bit, we see that he's not very happy, we use a lot of wild orange and lime. Lime and wild orange, citrus oil, yeah, like bergamot. So citrus oil is very good to keep them uplifted, to make them feel better. They're happier. When you see that they're not in the mood, then you got to use a lot of lime. So we diffuse a lot of citrus oil in the house. Yeah, we diffuse that a lot. Okay, all right. And this two oils that I'm going to talk to you, it's like the best, but it's so expensive. So we only use it when we have to. It's another critical situation oil, but not meltdown. Right, not really meltdown. But when we see he's really stressed, when he's really really stressed, okay, we go to Roman chamomile and sandalwood. Now, okay, like this two oils, it's so darn calming. You can really see Adam will just kind of just sit down and just chill and stone, right? He's stone on Roman chamomile, but make sure it's got to be strong. Okay, you gotta really smell that scent. Okay, so we do that. Of course, dilute it properly. Of course, you know that it's so powerful. 1-2 drops of Roman chamomile, it's so powerful, it's so strong, right? And the sandalwood is so strong, right? So you don't have to use a lot, but you gotta dilute it and you gotta apply all over him, right? We sapu all over him, his chest, his spine, his upper neck, his temple, and then we will also cup it in our hand and we will hold him down and we let him inhale, like, literally in front of his nose, his face, and let him inhale for like 10-20 seconds. And we tell him to breathe. He will follow instruction. He will take deep breath. He will inhale in, and we can see, magic, guys. That's how incredible our oils are. So, I mean, sometimes I talk about these oils, I get emotional because they are just so awesome, guys. All right. Now, and the last one, the 10 oil, of course, is balance. We use a lot of balance. So balance and lavender, it's the common oil that we use throughout the day. These oils are the oils like is his perfume. It helps, okay, it helps. But when we have a situation, we move to the stronger ones. Okay, so balance is like a prevention oil, keeps him, it reduces the chances of risk of him, getting into a situation, all right? And it's also very grounding as well, as you know. But lately we have been using less balance, and guess what? We have replaced balance with, guess what? Adaptive, guys. Okay, so when adaptive came out, we bought a ton, from the US, and we've been using it on him. We diffuse it, and it works wonders. It's like the New Balance. So we reduce the balance we use because it's very similar, kind of similar, right? I mean, it's a preference. You can try both. Of course, the adaptive more expensive, but hey, if it works, it doesn't matter, right? So yeah, we use a lot of adaptive throughout the day. It's like the kind of calming and happy oil. So yeah, there you go, the 10 oils that we use on Adam, and of course there are a lot more. And for me to tell you more details, it's gonna take a lot more time. So I gotta go, guys. So I hope I have shared a little bit of information with you all. Like I said earlier, every child is unique. So what works for Adam may not work for you, but something that you do may be working well for you. Go ahead, keep doing it. It's about consistency, continuously, ongoing, and never give up. And just keep trying and trying, and you will find the answer. And never let hope dies. Okay, so always have hope. And it's a privilege to talk to you guys. All right, thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Ayman.
Okay, bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.